King Kong in the trunk.
I'm back. Road Rants on the Rise of Skywalker. The episode 9 backlash continues. And Chris Terrio is one talking some bitch. Oh, he is making a just like around the world in 100 days press interview tour. He's talking to everybody. Dude, shut the fuck up. You're making this shit look worse than it already is, and I didn't think that was possible. Now, Terrio wrote Argo, by the way. Great movie, but the problem is he also wrote Justice League. A terrible movie. It has us all sort of pining for the Snyder Cut, right? At this point. Well, he's given an interview with GQ, and he admits some things. You can blatantly tell there is some JJ, Rian Johnson, Chris Terrio. There's animosity there, without a doubt. You would have to be an absolute idiot not to believe that. Let's go to the first thing he says. I wouldn't be doing my job if I didn't talk about the elephant in the room, which is the whole Rey's parents thing. Where were your initial thoughts going into resolving this mystery after it seemingly was cleared up in the prior movie? Well, we weren't convinced it had been cleared up. Rian Johnson fucked it all up. Because there's still highly troubling vision that Rey had in episode 7. Which is the shop with her parents. That must have been shot, supposed to be. Way to go, GQ. With her parents leaving the planet. Also, the events of The Last Jedi are literally just after the events of episode 7. I said that was in one of my 31 failures of The Last Jedi video. Rey has a force back to her parents, and then the very next day, quote, your parents were nobody and they were junk traders, none of that matters. And we thought in a way that would just be too easy. Because the idea that Rey had been longing for her parents for so many years, we just felt like there was something more going on. I've said in the past, family lineage is a big deal in Star Wars. Which is one of my issues that this shit show Terrio did. Look, Rey adopted the Skywalker name. I'm going to keep it real. I think JJ was going to make her either a Solo or a Skywalker originally. A real one, like bloodlines. Okay? Not a Palpatine. I don't mind her being a Palpatine, but don't take the Skywalker name at the end, by the way. And if you die, stay dead. Speaking of families and generations and the definitive answer about Rey's lineage, I have to ask, what was the roadmap? There wasn't one. Going into this, what had already been decided on from high up? Interesting. JJ doesn't love talking about how the sausage is made, particularly in terms of what story started when, so I don't get into that so much. That's a raw subject for JJ. I'm telling you, JJ had a 3-film treatment. Daisy Ridley point blank said Rian Johnson used 0% of JJ Abrams' script. He had a literal script for episode 8, by the way. The Last Jedi was a very interesting middle act in the fact it does things that a middle act should do, which is create highly surprising and seemingly untenable situations moving forward. In this case, the worst bad guy, Snoke, is dead, and the best good guy, Luke, is dead. Okay, Chris Terrio just acknowledged The two biggest fuck-ups essentially was you killed off the bad guy, forcing him to bring back Palpatine, and you killed off his words, best good guy, Luke. Talk to Kathleen Kennedy. This is her shit show. Rian sort of set up a challenge not only for the filmmakers, but for the characters. At the end, everybody is left with almost nothing. Rian left us with dick. Right in our throat. So as a storyteller, you have to start using all your tools because you're left with a lot of questions and not a lot of answers. We had to recommit to a few aspects of the story, perhaps be a bit more inventive. Yeah, you just had to start literally pulling things from your rectum. Bloop! Palpatine's in the house. Rectum pulled. Bloop! Rey is an adopted Skywalker. Rectum pulled. Bloop! Snoke's a clone because he didn't get a backstory. Nobody knows shit about him. So now he's a side note clone. Because Rian Johnson killed his ass. I will say this about The Rise of Skywalker. You can blatantly tell in places. I mean, there are blatant. Mahler just did his Unbridled Rage of the Rise of Skywalker. And he talks about it in there. There are some fuck yous to Rian Johnson from JJ. That's no question. There's no way around it. You know it. He is double middle fingers straight to Rian Johnson's face hole. Okay? It is the redeemable... It's my favorite parts of The Rise of Skywalker. Both favorite parts. The 4 favorite parts that lasted 22 seconds of a 2 hour and 27 minute movie or whatever, 2 hour and 15 minute movie, were the FUs directly to Rian Johnson. That does make some sense, okay? God, so the guy is just coming out and saying we were left with almost nothing. There's no way in hell Rian Johnson's ever making another Star Wars movie. I mean, surely, right? I just think, 1, he's too much of a financial liability. But 2, he left Star Wars as a dumpster fire. The best good guy, Luke, is dead. The worst bad guy, Snoke, is dead. And that was the 2 things that made this, because let's say Rey still didn't get any training. But Luke had been this badass Grandmaster Jedi, was still alive coming into episode 9. And Snoke was still alive. Look how much better this film is just like that. Luke's done killed 42 Praetorian guards or whatever the hell Rian Johnson made him up to be called in one of the worst fight scenes ever. You tell me what you think, Rhodes Squadron, about Chris Terrio throwing yet more shade and truth at Rian Johnson. And look, the whole thing's a shit show. The fact that they had a 3-story treatment, not only from Lucas, but from JJ as well, and they used neither, so Kathleen Kennedy could fulfill her political agenda? Fuck you, Kathleen Kennedy. Peace. I'm out till